Well, it. It's a fight, so whatever happens, happens.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sending Off Sports. I'm Andrew Schauder, and I'm joined today by one of my best friends, Nick Birns.
Nick Birns, a longtime viewer, first-time guest.
Yes, sir. So today we're going to switch it up. I know usually we like to stick on soccer, basketball, American football, but today we're going to switch it up, and we're going to talk boxing for the majority of this show, and we have a big Tyson guy here, and pretty much what we're going to touch on, we're going to talk about like the boxers today that impress us, some of the bigger names. Yeah. We're going to talk about the potential Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder fight. You know, it's in the works, but we don't know what's going on. We're gonna give our predictions, and then we're gonna talk GOAT conversation, because I know you want to get into that.
All time.
All right, so right off the bat, talk to me about some of the boxers today that impress you.
So absolutely, it's got to go Triple G. That dude is an absolute monster. And it's crazy that he's coming out of the middleweight division too, because he's like my height. Yeah. This dude 34 knockouts, 39-0. That controversial fight versus Canelo, got the rematch.
Yeah, that Maryland Bird. I mean, you know. It didn't do a lot for women's, power in boxing. Let's put it that way.
The feminists won't be too happy about that comment.
Just gonna keep it real, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it's the truth is the truth. If they don't want to believe it, they don't.
Yeah.
But Triple G, the dude is. I was just watching some of his highlights over the past couple days, getting ready for this. Yeah. The guy is he just comes straight at you. He corners you. He's like a bully. Bang bang, nice combos, and you just the dude. He's got the WA belt, WBC, and he's got the IBO belts too. And the guy's he was on a 23 knockout streak. So yeah, the guy is just he's the real deal. His resume speaks for itself.
Gennady Golovkin out of Kazakhstan, the home of Borat. The guy is a monster, unbelievable power, and like we saw that fight against Canelo Alvarez. Canelo is no scrub. This guy, his only loss was to freaking Floyd Mayweather. He's no scrub, and Canelo's hitting him like good strong combinations. He's not like nicking him. And Triple G, he just keeps going forward, pressing him. I mean, he's a beast. One fighter I'm going to throw out there that I have to show love to, Lomachenko, the Ukrainian. He's only 12 professional fights in, but 11 wins, 9 by knockout. If you haven't seen this guy, a lot of boxing fans have definitely heard of him, but if you haven't seen him, go check him out. This guy is just an absolute tactician, just unbelievable fighter. You have another name you want to throw out?
We were talking about before the Joshua Wilder, the potential fight with that. It's just those guys. Like I was telling you this before. Wilder reminds me of George Foreman. This guy literally just comes at you. He's not doing any crazy combos or shuffles. He's just hitting you with absolute bombs,
haymakers, 100%.
Bombs. Because I was watching the fight. The only time he's 40-0 with 39 knockouts. The only guy he didn't knock out, he just recently rematched him. He knocked him out in the first round. Came straight at his life, knocked him down 3 times. This guy looked like he got hit with the hand of God.
Yeah, and a guy like that, he's a sicko. He's been quoted saying, "I want to catch a body in the ring," and if you don't know what that means, watch Rocky IV. That means literally taking a man's life in the ring.
R.I.P. Apollo Creed.
Yeah, he wants that on his resume, and I think if you want that on your resume, you're a real sick fuck, and you're poised to win a lot of fights.
TMZ ran into it at the airport the other day, and they were like, "So what's going on with the fight?" And of course, all the politics have to come into it. They're like, "Oh no, it's the contracts," because Joshua probably wants to be the A side since he's coming in with 3 of the 4 belts, and then Wilder wants to make as much money as him. So they're not going to come to agreement anytime soon. It seems.
So touching on that fight really quick. So we have Anthony Joshua. He's like the bright new young face, and I mean the heavyweight division is just completely revitalized. So Joshua, he's 6'6", 249. So originally it looked like there was a fight that was agreed upon. They, agreed upon terms. It was supposed to be a 2 to 3 part fight, maybe like even a trilogy, where one was going to take place in the U.S., whether it be New York or Vegas probably, and then another one was going to take place in Wembley Stadium in London, which would have been unbelievable. And then you have Wilder, who 6'7", 227 pounds. I mean, we'll have to see. But in the meantime, Joshua, he has a fight on September 22nd against Alexander Povetkin, who I assume he'll get the job done, take care of business. We just want this fight to get, all the politics and everything.
What they're going to do is they're going to do the Floyd tactic. They're just going to hype it up for a long time. What he did with Manny, they're going to say, "Oh, we're going to do not. It's his fault. It's my fault." And then eventually we'll have something when they're past their primes. Probably that's probably what's going to happen.
Hopefully not. But that's one thing, and we were talking about this, and like in comparison with the UFC, with Dana White, he gets the fights that you want to see. He makes them happen. all these different organizations, the IPO, UBC, whatever. I don't know. It's so stupid. Where you have to go through all these different promoters. Where someone like what's his name? Who's Triple G's not Triple G, Canelo's promoter. Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, yeah. Yep. So he was saying like, oh, I would never promote like a McGregor type fight. Like that would never be something. The fact that there's not one governing body that could make the fights happen that people want to see, and you have to go through all of these logistics. 100%. It's ridiculous.
No, it's way too political. That's why everyone turned off with it, especially with the UFC too. You get McGregor fights every couple months, and if you don't have McGregor, you got John Jones. You got such a wide selection of different people. You can't. The normal person can't name too many names, but these guys, like you see it, you know. Yeah. So it's crazy how it takes so long to kind of get a fight going on with boxing, but when you see the one you want to see in the right time, it's awesome. Like with the first Canelo and Triple G Part 1 was awesome. That's what we wanted to see.
That was a great fight, and then obviously we have to mention Canelo Alvarez, who what happened with it? He tested positive, and then he said there was something in the Mexican meat. He went to Chipotle, and I don't know.
Yeah, he went to some Chipotle with backwards letters, and he got HGH instead of protein. So
I hate when that happens, you know.
It's
but again, Canelo, he's 52 total fights, 34 wins by knockout, 1 loss to Floyd Money Mayweather. So I mean that tells you the type of class of fighter this guy is.
He's in a league of his own. He's definitely one of the better middleweights right now. Yeah. Obviously, he's definitely the best competition for Triple G. So hopefully we don't.
And when are we getting the Part 2?
September 15th, I believe.
Yeah, wow, that's gonna be awesome.
It's right around the corner.
It was supposed to happen already, but they had to reschedule because
just to get more ticket sales.
Yeah. I mean,
whatever bullshit reason they want to throw out there.
I'm convinced, at least in this sport, I don't want to say all sports, but at least in this sport where you have like mano a mano, these guys probably sit in a room like, listen, we're gonna fight each other because it's what we do. How are we gonna make X amount of money? Let's push it. Let's do this. Let's that. That's what I think would happen with McGregor Mayweather. He probably sat in a room like, listen, I'm gonna get 300 mil. You're gonna get 110 mil. Let's drag it to like 10 rounds, and then I'll knock your ass out.
He made like, what, 14 times on that fight for 30 minutes, and he did through all of his fights. It was unbelievable. The ridiculous amount of money change between the two fights. Yeah. It's crazy. And he's a perfect promoter, too. Everyone loves to see McGregor.
Guys. Yeah. All right, so let's move on really quick to I know what you want to talk about. The GOAT conversation.
Was it go to the GOAT conversation? Yeah, so I had to mention a couple names that I wrote down before we got into the two main guys.
Some honorable mentions.
Yeah, we got Joe Louis. I feel like he kind of just got the ball rolling with all these guys. Like, everyone always throws him in the conversation in passing, and I always had to throw his name out there, definitely for sure. Yeah. Rocky Marciano, 49-0, right? He's
the apparent inspiration for Mr. Balboa over here.
Absolutely. Remember when they did that simulation fight with him and Ali? They had him beating Ali, and you know how that probably made him too. Oh, wow. So you got to throw that guy in there, throw him in the ring. And then I wanted to throw, I believe he was a middleweight, Sugar Ray Robinson. I had to write it down. He was 173 and 19.
Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson. You were thinking Leonard?
I like Leonard. I'm a Leonard guy.
Leonard's awesome. Yeah. Awesome. No Mas.
I was one of the names I was going to throw out there was Roberto Duran. If you're a boxing fan or a historian, there's a great documentary on ESPN that I recommend called No Mas, where basically the whole story is Roberto Duran. He fought Sugar Ray Leonard. They had one fight where Duran won, if I'm not mistaken, and then they had a second fight where pretty much it was all this hype, and Duran was the better fighter. And then at some point in time, Leonard turns it on. He starts dancing. He starts taunting him, whatever. He lands a couple punches, scores some points. And I don't know if it was a combination of the taunting or whatever, but Duran just said no mas.
Famous.
So I mean that's the name to throw out there. Who else would you throw out there before you get to the big two?
I had those three down specifically, but you got to talk about Floyd.
I was gonna say your big two is Tyson and Ali.
Tyson, Ali.
All right, so then we got to talk about Floyd.
Yeah, so Floyd is 50-0.
Yeah.
You can't argue. You can't argue undefeated.
Yeah.
And the thing is, before Floyd, he came around in the late '90s.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Tyson, heavyweights, and before him, it was those great heavyweight battles of the '70s with Foreman, Joe Frazier. So there wasn't really too much attention besides like those Sugar Ray Leonards looking at the middleweight and lower class divisions. Like, who's going to want to watch a lightweight fight?
Yeah.
No one's going to pay for that. He completely changed the game, and the dude's making what, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, 350 million a fight just for 36 minutes of work.
He figured out a way, despite all the, and this is a sport that's just ravaged with personal issues and all these off the, out of the ring stories. He just figured out a way that I'm going to suck every penny, dollar, out of these promoters, out of the fans, whether it's giving them a shit fight where it's not the most entertaining brand of boxing, but I'm going to not get touched. I'm going to stay pretty, and I'm going to walk away.
He doesn't have a damn scratch on him. He's never been knocked down.
He's probably going to be one of the only fighters without a real case of
he doesn't even
CTE.
look hurt. He doesn't. You could probably pull a 2-minute compilation of him getting hit kind of hard. Like even when McGregor was hitting him in the top of the head, you didn't even look like he was taking the bam, hit me right on the chin.
He took an uppercut. Like he's still fine.
That was light work to him.
Say what you want about his personality, who he is, but as a fighter, I mean, tactician.
He's probably the greatest defensive fighter of all time.
Yeah,
because that's you want to see the knockouts, but the guy can dance.
Yeah. So now talk to me about your guy,
Mike Tyson. My Iron Mike, Kid Dynamite.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's my favorite fighter. Like whoever really watches boxing always has to put Ali in that category of his own.
It's tough to break through that because he's just like Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain. Like you just think of these names, it's just
he's way bigger than
set the stone, the foundation.
And he absolutely set this foundation, even for like trash talkers, for fighters. No one. You think McGregor would be around without?
He's probably the best trash talker of all time.
And there was no one even like him. Like no one talked before. This is the '60s. Everyone's showing up with the nice suits. It's just it's unbelievable. He's not flashing his money. He's just running his mouth. They're not going to do anything about it.
You think about what he meant politically and realistically with the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X going from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali, and then like, hey, I don't care if you draft me. I'm not serving. Yeah. He just meant it was so much more than just boxing.
he was way more than the game. I would think he was probably the most influential athlete of all time. Especially at the time too, with everything going on, the civil rights movement, and all that.
It was such a different era. Like
the Vietnam War. Like, this is the prime of his career
today, and like it's all thanks to these guys. Like they don't understand. Like there's still struggles. There's still fights. Of course, it's not all a walk in the park. But they're. Like we said, the foundation was set for them.
Yeah, but to get to Iron Mike, this guy was. I always say like that period of time that he had. I honestly think everyone says it's when he got knocked out by Buster Douglas. I think it was until he went to jail. This guy was. He was a tornado. He come right into the ring. He had 19 first-round knockouts. First-round knockouts in his first 25 fights. Come right in, just those vicious, vicious combinations. He'd hit you one quick shot to the body. He'd flinch up. Bam, that's it. Lights out. He would come at you with this
peak. Terrifying.
At his peak, I personally think he would give Ali a run for his money because of the style of fighter that he is.
Even the way, even when he would his entrance to the ring, that eerie little
heavy metal,
oh my god, just everything about him.
He was no flash. He was like, all right, I'm coming in the ring. I'm coming at you with everything.
There's gimmicks.
Nothing you could do about it. When he fought Michael Spinks in '88, he was the lineal champion. This was like the last big guy in Tyson's era that they're like, all right, if he beats him, there's no one on the planet could beat him. They're gonna have to fly someone from outer space to beat this guy. He was nervous that he was putting something in his glove, so he had someone go into his room and watch him put on his glove. And Tyson got pissed, and he like threw his arm up, went straight through the wall. So that's when if you rewatch this fight, it's only 7 minutes. With the entry, it was a minute 31 fight. When he's entering, he's like kind of looking around, scared. When he's hitting him, he's kind of looking really like laid back and everything. This guy, he was the epitome of terror.
I was gonna say the epitome of intimidation.
He was just like unbelievable. Like you could just see him following your eyes. He just wouldn't let you out of his sight. He was like a lion. Like he's like, this is the jungle. I'm coming straight at you with everything.
So final take. Ali, Tyson in a ring in their prime. You taking Tyson?
I want to take Tyson in my heart of hearts, but this guy Ali, man, he's never been knocked down. I mean, no, he has been knocked down. He's never been knocked out ever. He's been knocked down 2 or 3 times.
For his career, 56-5, 37 knockouts. He's fighting from 1960 to 1981. I mean,
and then the 3 years off.
You look at the rope-a-dope. How he could speak, flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. It's
just beautiful. It was like watching Mozart compose.
Exactly.
It was unbelievable. The thing is, though, that Joe Frazier gave him probably the most trouble in his career. Like that very first fight in Madison Square Garden, the fight of the century, 15th round, he hits him with that beautiful left hook, floors him. Tyson fought just like that, but Tyson's more jacked up. Tyson's even quicker. Like Tyson's him on steroids.
We're not talking about like a Joshua Wilder. We're not talking about 6'6", 6'7".
He's 5'10".
This is just a unit. Like he had
a 19-inch neck, 19-inch neck. This guy. But the thing is, he actually fought Frazier's son. He beat him in under 30 seconds. Bell rings. He goes right at him. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. That's it. He was just tore everything apart in his path. I think he was. Oh, I actually wrote it down. He was 41-1 before he went to prison, and then before he fought Holyfield, he was 45-1. That was just like the guy was in another planet.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so that's going to be the boxing talk for today.
Yeah.
To transition and still stay in the GOAT conversation, I have to pick your brain about this because I know you could.
I could.
Jordan LeBron.
Jordan
LeBron.
I'm Jordan. Jordan to the day. Jordan to the day I die. The people like Nick Wright, and it really gets me agitated.
Yeah.
Is my first main issue with LeBron is when they say he could cover 5 positions. We play positionless basketball. Like, I think the 90s was the most true time where, like, okay, John Stockton's a point guard.
That's really the biggest flaw in this whole argument.
Karl Malone's a power forward.
Yeah. Like when we grew up, it was like, all right, especially like if you were playing basketball or like an especially organized ball club.
Yeah.
All right, you're a point. You can handle. You're a point guard.
Yeah.
You're gonna get people involved, pick and rolls. You're like if you were small, go to the post right away.
Now they just.
But to be honest, from like I don't want to say a basketball purist standpoint, but just someone who enjoys like the skill sets of these athletes, you have to give it up to like the guys. Like LeBron's going against Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's not the most. It's not like he's the most technically sound player. He's not. It's not like he's gonna pull up and rain threes. But this guy is 7 feet going coast to coast.
You see that picture he just put up with his brothers on Instagram?
Oh my God,
his biceps
huge
now.
My
torso.
He's huge.
Disgusting. This guy was made in a lab.
Listen. I'm always like, just to be impartial and unbiased, I'm a LeBron guy. Definitely grew up and like we grew up more in LeBron era than Jordan. Yeah. We can't say we were like watching Jordan as kids. But the more accomplished, greater, and like I guess if you want to go mentality, I'll take Jordan. Yeah, no, definitely.
If you're trying to win a championship, that's the guy you put in the driver's seat.
Like if you just built an NBA player from scratch and like what skill sets you want to give him, especially now with like how he's developed his jump shot, I would definitely go LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron's a my player.
Yeah. And then like another thing too, and like I don't want to get into the whole Jordan's playing against plumbers argument. I don't want to
and construction workers.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to undermine his accomplishments and who he was, because he was terrifying. But you look at Kawhi Leonard, probably the best two-way player in the game.
Yeah, I think so.
When he's actually playing and not deciding.
I mean, not doing this prima donna, I'm better than everyone else bullshit.
God knows what the hell that was all about. Him, KD, freak.
That 7-foot guard.
I mean, now you have Ben Simmons. He's like the next up and coming. We already spoke about Giannis. Paul George is another
Anthony
one. Anthony Davis. I mean, it all just goes hand in hand with positionless basketball. Yeah. And then, all right, so I know you also want to talk defensively, because LeBron's disappointing defensively.
Because when they say he covers 5 positions, like I was saying before, he's not really guarding 5 positions. Because say now he's in the West, they're going to play the Pelicans more. He's not guarding Anthony Davis. You know, Anthony Davis would be the closest thing to a center, a power forward.
Well, I mean, he might guard him now because he's playing the 5. No, that's the new.
He had to put up a picture of his morphed arms.
Triple B's. Kuzma, Ingram, and who's going to start at the 2? Josh Hart, maybe? Or
Contavious. The summer league MVPs. He's coming off the bench. I don't know, but because he isn't used cast the old guys. They got Lance, Rondo,
Contavious. I think Contavious Caldwell-Pope will get the start.
They just to grab all the old guys. He loves playing with veterans. Just loves playing.
That's a very interesting team, though.
Yeah,
I love that Lance Stevenson's on that team. We're gonna see how that.
I'm gonna love to see them interact. It's gonna be something else. Oh, they got Beasley too. Yeah, he played well with the Knicks, and unfortunately, I don't want to put the Knicks in the conversation.
People, like I've heard guys around the league talk, like LeBron including. They say Michael Beasley is one of the most skilled players in the league. It's just all. Oh,
he's
former number 2 overall.
I forgot what draft he went in. It was a pretty stacked one, right? Yeah.
He went to the Heat out of Kansas State. Derrick Rose went number 1 out of Memphis. Yeah.
That guy, the biggest upset of all time. You told me that line. I remember Mike Korzemba did a video about it after you said it though. So you stole it from him. If you're watching, the only MVP who's not going to go in the Hall of Fame.
Derrick Rose.
You said that.
Yeah.
That was you. Patented.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Rose, man, I love that guy. You look at him and Westbrook, you're probably talking about the 2 most explosive players, guards that have ever, touched the basketball. It's just, I don't know, it's a shame.
The thing is, they're like, when Derrick Rose is in his prime versus Westbrook, he wasn't in his prime. He won his MVP at 22. That's not your. That's not your
the
prime.
youngest MVP ever.
He was drafted the same year as Westbrook.
Sick.
They're not. They're supposed to be in their prime together. Like it's just the guy was just head and shoulders. Like he made the guard into that position.
Yeah.
He was that power. Like
just
I'm coming at you full steam.
With the finger roll, I'm gonna. Yeah.
That dunk on Gordon Dragic.
Oh my god. That dunk. You remember the dunk on Joel Anthony against the Heat in the playoffs? Oh my god.
The guy he's like a jumping bean straight up.
You know what's probably the saddest part now? Like I remember there was that one game against Houston in the playoffs this past season with Minnesota.
He's on Minnesota.
He could still play.
Oh, he's so skilled.
Even for the Knicks, like he was
skilled. He played the game pretty well.
He could still get to the basket, and then I hate seeing the announcers talking about like vintage Derrick Rose when he does one of his like up and unders. Like he still has it. It's a combination, and his body won't let him do it. And then up here, there's just so many things
just
going
mentally on. That takes such a toll on you after a while. That you go for a layup, you snap your leg. You go for a layup, you tail your ACL. It's like what's in his head? Because that's how he worked. He wasn't. I'm going to hang out behind like Steph Curry. I'm going to dribble a bunch and then huck up a three. But hey, it's upsetting, you know, like going from that at 22 and now what is he? He was out of a job. The dude was out of a job. Imagine I bet you the year he won MVP that he'd be out of a job 8 years later. I'd be rich.
And then with the Knicks situation, there was a time he just went AWOL on them.
Yeah, he did the same thing with the Cavs too.
Yeah.
He didn't travel with them.
Well, I think they knew about that though.
Yeah, with the Knicks he just completely bailed.
I remember Dwayne Wade was talking about like we need to give him some time. We know what he's going through. We're rooting for him. It's upsetting. But yeah, now going back to LeBron with the defense, you throw him, because the thing is, I say this all the time, the Warriors are a perfect product of their time. Yeah.
No hand checking. Yeah. That beautiful. They made the 3-point shot what it is.
It was the perfect storm.
It was the perfect storm, perfect timing. LeBron just left the Heat. Yeah. I feel like Steph Curry and that group, maybe besides KD, obviously, being 7 foot and pulling up from 30. Yeah. But you go back, LeBron could be amazing in any decade. Yeah. Amazing. But he's not going to cover Shaq. Yeah. He's not going to cover Karl Malone. Yeah. Like, you can't say he's going to guard 5 positions when he hasn't sniffed at defensive, not even 100%. A first, second, or I don't even think there's a third. You haven't even been on that team since he was in a Heat uniform.
His defensive mentality now, I compare it to the Patriots. Situational. It's like, all right, I'm gonna walk around, and like it sucks because, but we have to understand too. He's about to be 16 years in.
He reminded us 100 times year 15.
Oh my god. One thing about LeBron, as he's aged, he's definitely gotten a little more full of himself and recognizing his own greatness and posting some of his highlights.
I'm the greatest old man of all time. It's just really killing me.
He's not wrong.
He's not.
But you know, it must be hard to be that freaking humble when you're at that point.
No, you're right.
But again, going back to LeBron, like it has been disappointing to see him walking or just falling asleep on a backdoor screen.
People get confused with the chase down blocks that he's just unbelievable.
And that's where
because they don't record how many turnovers you cause. You know, if I force you in the corner, I trap you. Anyone actually watches basketball knows that that's defense. Yeah. You know, just because I stopped you or I purposely funneled you in Anthony Davis and he sent you 20 feet, that's defense. He doesn't do those things. You're looking at blocks and steals and you're judging that off defense.
I'll tell you one thing, this Lakers team and some of the young guns that he has are definitely going to be a better defensive unit than the ragtag group of Cavaliers last year.
That's why I think that he gets like people disregard. Like you can't ignore this 6-0 in the finals with not even having a Game 7. But
like that's what the not going to a Game 7 is just
it's mind-boggling. Yeah. But when you look at he lost 6, Jerry West is the logo and he lost 8. Yeah. So it happens. You know, I'm not going to say he lost 6 and he can't be in that conversation. But yeah. So my biggest thing with LeBron is that people made him out to be a martyr. Yeah. What I'm saying with that is when he was on the Heat, he was the favorite for 4 years. Yeah, his head and shoulders. No one's beaten LeBron. The Spurs were phenomenal. They ran him 7 games. 2013. If it wasn't for Ray Allen, we always talk about that and that shot. And then 2014 they beat him in 5 games. But the thing is, that team was the favorite every time. But it happened to be the last 4 years. Everyone likes to remember recent. Everyone's got short term. Everyone's got short term memory. So now they see LeBron. He's fighting against the Warriors without Kyrie and Kevin Love, and then he's going against the 73-19. And he beats him down 3-1. So now it's like, oh, he just brought everyone from the ashes. But you can't discount all those years prior, years with the Cavs, and then those 4 years with the Heat, where he was just head and shoulders the favorite.
And then you got to say Jordan 6-0 in the finals without needing a Game 7. That's just unbelievable.
Zero stats for that Game 7. It's never going to happen again.
Yeah, the only thing I could say about LeBron now, it's just so effed up how stacked the deck is against him with what's going on in the Bay And KD, I just don't understand it.
It's just
like from a competitive standpoint. Like I know you want it. Like everyone wants to win.
It's not the same. It's not the same. They don't want to go at each other anymore. They'll stack whoever they want on one side, come out with a couple rings, and if he performs, no one's gonna say, you know what, at least he didn't ride everyone's coattails. Like he was back-to-back Finals MVP. If he deserved it this year, if it wasn't Steph, but he still came to play that year. He still had that monster Game 3. That what was it? A 35-foot bomb just put the hearts in.
Yeah, no, he still shows up. Don't get me wrong. He's the second best player in the NBA to me. He's amazing. It's just now he doesn't have the same pressure.
It's tainted. It's tainted. You can't.
There's gonna be an asterisk next to those chips.
It's like he juiced up. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
But listen, I'll tell you one thing, man. Muhammad Ali set the foundation. We don't know if he's the GOAT or not, but he definitely set the tone and paved the way. Tyson, the most intimidating by far. That peak was unbelievable.
Greatest peak in any sport.
And Jordan played against plumbers. I mean, that's what we concluded from today. But Nick,
don't forget about construction workers.
Nick, I appreciate you coming, man. As always.
Let me plug you.
Thank you,
everybody watch the show. If you're watching it already, tell your family. Make your grandma a YouTube account. Make her an Instagram. Have everyone follow him, because once he blows up, and he is going to blow up, that's Nick Birns saying that, you're going to be happy that you've been watching from the start.
Amen, brother. I appreciate it. I'm Andrew Schauder.
Nick Birns.
Sending off sports.